Hello everybody, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition, and today I figured I'd bring you guys a playthrough of Mysterium Park, and I'll mess up this name, but by Libellud. Alright, I tried. So this is for 2 to 6 players, it's for ages 10 plus, and it takes roughly around 28 minutes. So let's run through the setup as quick as we can. How can we go through the setup? So for the setup, the first thing that goes on is you choose who is going to be the ghost and who's going to be the psychics. In this game, someone was murdered at a park and the ghost is trying to get the psychic to pick who their murderer is. So that's the theme of the game. So we've picked the ghost, they're sitting on one side of the table, all the psychics sit on the other side because you don't want the psychics to be able to see behind this little card, right? Only the ghost gets to see that information. So that's all figured out. The next thing you do is the ghost draws 3 plot cards. So we have this deck of plot cards, right? Yay, lots of plot cards, there's a whole bunch of them. And it shows you how to set up it shows you where certain things are on the board, and we'll go through how the ghost reads the plot cards. So the ghost draws 3 plot cards. First plot card they put in there, the other 2 plot cards they put off to the side. And what these plot cards represent is the 3 rounds of the game. Clearing the characters is the first round. The next round is Spectral the next round, it's not Spectral Manifestation, and the next round is eliminating locations, and then the third round is revealing the culprit and the crime scene. So that's what the 3 cards are. So the ghost pulls their 3 plot cards and they go ahead and they put it out. Next, the ghost goes ahead and takes the 3 tokens from the box. These tokens represent kind of redos. You can get rid of one, discard a token, and redraw up your hand of cards. The ghost can redraw up their hand of cards. So they grab those 3 tokens. After they've gone ahead and done that, they take the vision cards and they lay them face down. They draw 7 vision cards for themselves. Their starting hand is 7 vision cards. So there's the 7, there's the vision cards, there's your 7 vision cards, right? And then the last thing, or not the last thing, the next thing that the ghost can kind of do is set up the marker in space 1, which is kind of weird. So psychics set out the board while the ghost is doing this stuff, and then the ghost can take the marker and put it in spot 1. Or, the psychics can go ahead and put it there. You guys can kind of set this up as a group, or one person can set it up. So you put down the board, you go ahead and you put down the turn marker, which we have over here. So you could put down the turn marker in space 1, and the numbers are right underneath. Once that is done, the next thing that you will go ahead and do is each player chooses a color, and they go ahead and take their marker, which is a little psychic ball, and they take their innocence token. And that's to mark where the innocents are on the character board. Once you have that done, you set up for round 1. And to set up for round 1, what you do is you take the character cards. So you have these character cards right here. And you go ahead and you shuffle them. Everything's shuffle, right? Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And then you take them and you randomly put 9 cards out. So we've already done that. With the rest of the character cards, you can go ahead and set them back in the box or off to the side. They won't be needed anymore. Now, we're all set up to play. So these are location cards. It's just an early thing. It's for the next round, right? First round is figuring out who's innocent. Second round's finding the location or eliminating locations where the murder didn't happen. And then the third round is figuring out who actually killed the ghost and in what location they killed that ghost. So now, first round is set up and ready to go. How the round works is the ghost has this card here. They have this plot card that no one else can see, and they can see which person they want each psychic to guess. So in this instance, we as the ghost would want yellow to pick, I think it's a ballerina, because there's ballerina shoes, and she looks like a little ballerina dancer with roses and stuff. So in this instance, you want yellow to pick the ballerina. You want blue to pick, I don't know what he's supposed to be. Is he like a makeup artist? Because there's makeup things there and stuff. You want blue to pick this one based on this card. You want white to pick the psychic. She's got the tarot cards and stuff. Then you want a magenta or purple, however you want to look at, to pick this guy. I don't know what he is. Is he like a yogi or something? And then you want red to pick the daredevil, I think, because she's got the helmet on, right? And then this marker we'll talk about in a bit. So the ghost knows who they want each psychic to pick, who they want them to pick as an innocent. Because this round we're trying to get rid of all the innocents. We're trying to eliminate the pool of potentials. So with that, the ghost has their 7 vision cards that they can use. So they can look through these vision cards and they can go in any order because they're trying to figure out what card best fits or what card will best get a psychic to pick the person they need to pick. Now, let's go through all this. I don't know. I'm not the best ghost. I'm going to admit that right now. We're going to take this vision card and go ahead and give it to yellow. And you can give them in any order. You can give as many vision cards as you want. I can give yellow all these vision cards, but it might confuse them because there's so much stuff in these vision cards, and they're beautifully painted cards. All right, so I give illustrated, I guess is the way to put it, beautifully illustrated cards. So I give yellow their vision, or the ghost gives yellow their vision. They draw their hand back up to 7, and they go round and round until everyone has their visions. So this is I believe it's called the vision phase, but let's just randomly do this, and this is probably how I play anyway. So we gave blue 2, we'll give white 1. Well, remember every time you do that, let's say we gave blue 2, we draw up 2 more. All right, this might take a little longer to walk through, but then we got 7 cards in our hand again, and then we pick the next person, and let's say we give them 1, we draw back up again, and then we're looking through them. And I'm just doing this quickly so you guys can see how it plays. We give white 2 vision cards. And remember, there's no order in doing this. We draw back up 2. And then for red, we give them, let's say 1 vision card, right? And then we draw back up again. And what you're doing is you're trying to pick the best vision you can give the psychic so they can pick the person that you want them to pick as innocent, right? So once you go through that, you give a psychic their vision, 1, 2, 3, 7 cards, and then you draw back up and you go to the next psychic to give them their vision. And remember, like I said, you want to do your best to make sure that the vision you're giving them will get them to pick the card. Ghost is stressful but fun, right? So that was the interpreting visions phase. So you've given all the psychics their visions. Now they get to go ahead and interpret their visions. So, well, it's not over. The interpreting vision phase is actually still going on. So you've given all the psychics their visions. Now they get a look and try to figure out what you are talking about. Who are you talking about? Who? I don't understand. Who is, what are you? So let's go ahead and put some, and I'm kind of doing this on purpose. Red's going to pick there. Yellow is going to pick here. White is going to go ahead and pick this one. I'm not doing any rhyme or reason to this. Honestly, I'm just putting them out. We're going to go with magenta. We're going to go here. And blue, for whatever reason, is going to pick that one. All right. So the interpretation phase is done. Is it called phase? I'm pretty sure it's called phase, right? I think they don't call it phase. I like to call it phase. So the interpretation part is done. The ghost has given out the cards. The psychics have made their choice. Now the next part is the spectral manifestation. And all this means is the ghost tells people if they're right or wrong, right? And so the first thing the ghost does is they look at their card, which gives them all their locations. And if there's an eyewitness somewhere, that symbol means the eyewitness. This is the eyewitness token, which I forgot to say, you put out the eyewitness token. Way to go, Stephen. Right? So there's the eyewitness. And what you do is, right off the bat as the ghost, you look and you see if anybody's on the eyewitness spot. And if they are, you say, you have discovered the eyewitness or the witness. Right? white gets to pick a new spot to go to. So white might go, I don't know. I'm going to go here, all right? And you go ahead and you remove this character card from the game. You don't need it anymore. And you put the eyewitness or the witness token right there, all right? And that means that that one's clear. That is not going to be one of the killers. Now, since white got a move, all other players get a move. So blue can go, I don't know. Let me look back at my visions, which are over here. I'm going to go here, right? And everybody can move. Anybody can move. So we'll just go through and we'll say, I don't know. Is it this person? We're going to move over here just because, right? And you don't have to move, but everybody can move once the eyewitness has been found. Once you get past that, if the eyewitness wasn't found, if no one picked the eyewitness, then you would not do that part. But since they did, we kind of moved around. Now the ghost goes through, and they can do this in any order, and they say who's gotten their visions right and who hasn't. So we'll just kind of do, let's go this way. So I got to step to this side. All right, so you would go yellow. The ghost would look at their card and go, yellow, you chose correctly. So what you do is yellow removes that character. They go ahead and put their innocent token down. And you go ahead and take this card. And you don't need it anymore. You go ahead and get out of the game. Yellow gives their vision card back to the ghost. And that vision card goes in the discard pile. And then you just keep walking through. So then you can go blue. Blue, you're wrong. Blue just goes back. Blue gets to keep their vision cards because you're going to kind of build on that to try to get them to guess the right person. Then you go white. White, you're correct. Same thing. White goes ahead and puts their innocent marker there. They don't need their character. You can go ahead and take that out of the game. And they go ahead and turn in their vision cards. They don't need their vision cards anymore, right? And then you go back, you go magenta, you're wrong. So they go back, they keep their vision card. And then red, you are correct. So red goes ahead and puts their innocent token there. You take the character, they're out of the game, and red gives their vision card back to the ghost, which goes in the discard pile, right? So now that turn is done. The turn marker goes down to turn 2, and then you go through again. Now, even though yellow, white, and red have already cleared their people, they found innocents, you work as a team as psychics. Right? You're all working together, and the ghosts, you're all working together to solve this mystery. So it doesn't mean they have nothing to do. Now what they can do is they can really look at the cards that the blue and the magenta player get. Right? They can really start looking at those cards to try to decide who is the innocents here. And you're trying to narrow it down to who the actual possible killers might be, and there's 3 of them. So the other thing to remember is to get through the first 2 rounds, figuring out who's innocent, clearing the innocent, and eliminating locations, you only have 6 turns to do it. You have 6 turns to get through 2 rounds, right? Final round, it's a one-shot go. So let's go ahead, and I think we have a little bit of time. We can run through this really quick. Let's go ahead, and now we're going to give visions again, and I'm just going to randomly give visions, right? We're going to give blue that vision, and we're going to go ahead and we'll say, oh man, these 2 look really great. For magenta, we're going to give them those 2 visions, right? And then, let's go ahead and do that, right? We gave blue 1 vision, we draw up our hand, right? And then, we give magenta, we'll give these 2. So we give magenta 2, we draw up our hand again, 1, 2, all right? Once that is done, everybody gets to talk. They look at their visions, they try to decide, well, I think because of this and that. And you want to talk as psychics so the ghost can hear your thought process. So the ghost can pick better choices, try to give you better cards based on how you look. I tend to do a lot of color. Other people do imagery, and you want to try to listen for that. As the ghost, you want to listen. As a psychic, you want to talk out loud so the ghost can hear what you're saying. All right. So we go through this, and just because I want to get them right, I'm going to cheat for a second. I thought that's what it was. So magenta is going to pick this one. Blue is going to pick this one. And then they go, okay, now it is the spectral manifestation phase, right? It's basically the ghost says who's right, who's wrong. Ghost looks on here, blue, you're correct. So blue gets to take this back. Oops, I put it in the wrong spot. They put their marker here. They go ahead and get rid of the character. Blue gets rid of all their vision cards. They go to the discard pile. If I can flip all this stuff around, and we know the other one's right, so we can kind of set that here. And like I said, you get rid of that character card, and then you would go magenta, magenta. Well, we'll show you. The ghost looks and goes magenta. Magenta is correct. So magenta, go ahead and take their marker back. They put their innocent token here. At this point, you really don't have to because it was the last person that needed to be picked. There's an innocent. You go ahead and take that character, take it out of the game. You don't need it anymore. They go ahead and take their vision cards. They give them to you. You put them in your discard pile. Now, that would be the end of round one. You set up round two exactly the same. But there's one thing that I need to add. Before you end round one, you have some people on here. These are potential killers, right? These are potential killers. So you go ahead and take those and you set them off to the side because you're going to use them later. Now, if you're playing with less than 6 players, anybody who isn't in here, their characters just disappear. The blank spots are your potential killers. That's how you find your potential killer. Let's say you're playing with 3 players, right? So you might not need these because there's a ghost and 2 players. So you still know that these spots, right, are your potential killers that you need for the last round. All right. So now each player takes their innocent token back, like that. And that was the second turn. That puts us into the third turn, right? And from here we set up locations. And this is just like the characters. You go ahead and you shuffle the location deck, right? Shuffle it all up. And you take off the eyewitness token. You just go ahead and throw it down. And then you go ahead and you randomly put out 9 locations on the board. So here's our 9 locations. The rest of the locations are not needed. The rest of the locations can go back into the box. Now the ghost takes the plot card that they had for the first round and they go ahead and get rid of it. You can put it back in the box. And they draw the second plot card and they slide it into their divider so no one else can see it. So now there's a whole new setup. And what this is showing is the ghost wants red to pick here, magenta to pick here, white to pick here, yellow to pick here, blue to pick down here. This is they call it the witness. This is maybe where the witness was and they saw it did not happen there. You can look at it anyway, but that's the eyewitness location. So same thing with the characters. If someone lands there, they can move. You reveal that first before you say who's right and wrong. That person gets to choose. That psychic chooses another location. All psychics can change their location, right? Oh, there goes my cord again. It's just always going to be in there, guys, because I have a wired cord. All right. So now they have a new plot card in the setup. And once again, here are the locations that are going to, the ghost already knows this, it's going to be their potential locations. All right. So same thing goes. Ghost gives visions. People start picking their locations, so on and so forth. We're going to go ahead and skip right through this because this round plays just like the character round. And every turn they move forward on the turn track, right? So with this one, we know as you see here, these are our locations. So we would take these 3 locations. Let's just imagine that we're at the end and everybody's picked their location. We could even move this down. Let's say it took, 2 turns for everybody to pick the right location. We know that these 3 locations are the 3 locations. So we're just speeding this up. So you go ahead and take all these off here. And this is so I can show you guys the last round, right? And the last round is picking the murderer and the location. Oh, did I do that wrong? I probably, no, I didn't do that wrong. I did that right in this location. All right, I just left the location on the board. All right. So once again, the ghost gets rid of the plot card. They go ahead and set it here. They get a new plot card. They slide it in. They take the character cards. They shuffle them so they don't remember what's there. Whoop. Well, now we know what's there. We shuffle them, and then you randomly put them out in the second location, right? You don't put them in that top location. You put it in the second line. So you go ahead and put all three of the killers down, and you do the same thing with the locations, right? And you put all three of the locations down. So there's 1, there's 2, and then there's 3. So now, this is where it gets a little different. On the card, you see the numbers. You have the numbers. You always pay attention to the number at the top of the card, not the bottom, because you can play the card and flip it, which gives different picks for people. It gives you more playability. I had to think for a second. So you always look at the number at the top, and that gives away what killer and location, what person is the killer and what location you were killed in, and you go off 3. So always look at the top of the card, 3. This is what you want the psychics to pick. Now, they get one shot at this. Psychics get one shot. Okay, so the ghost picks 2 cards. They can only pick 2 cards to give to the psychics. They do have this whole hand, right? They do have their hand of 7 cards, and they still can use any tickets remaining. So we still got 2 tickets remaining here. The ghost can still use tickets. And what they do is they have to pick 1 card that represents the killer. Well, we know in this playthrough who the killer and where the place is. So they have to pick 1 card that specifically pertains to the killer and 1 card that specifically pertains to the location. So remember, we have tickets. So let's go ahead and play through this really quick. We can glance through. We can say, hey, no, I want to get rid of these. I want a whole new hand. Oh, knocking everything over. I want to knock over the cards so everybody can see it. We want a whole new hand of 7 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To see what we can do with this, like throw the cards back down. We spent a ticket. We got ourselves a whole new hand to look at. And we're like, oh my God, there's just so much. All right, well, as a ghost, we're going to say we're going to pick this one for the character because it looks menacing. I mean, we have another card we can get rid of. We can go ahead and try that too. Let's see if there's anything we really like here. Let's keep these 2 cards. Is the ghost. We're going to spend our last ticket. We're going to go, okay, we're getting rid of this last ticket, and we're drawing back up to 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now we have no more tickets. We have to pick one that represents the killer. The ghost has to, and they have to pick one that represents the place. So this one looks awesome because there's a knife. Hopefully that will catch. So now we're going to pick this one, and now we have to pick one for the place, and it's still not as great, but we're going to go with this one for the place. So once the ghost decides on 2 cards, they take those cards and they shuffle them, because if anybody else has been the ghost before, they know that the ghost is picking one for the person, one for the place. You shuffle the cards up so they're all mixed up, and then you hand them to the players for all the players to look at. Now all the players get a look at these 2 cards, and they're trying to decide which row that the killer and the location is. So you're trying to get them to guess this row, so you've given them these cards. Now, they can all talk, but they have to agree, right? So they all talk, and then they vote on which ones they want. You can vote with your guys. Let's say a couple people are like, I think it, or we can do them up here. Handful of people are like, I think it's 3. One person's like, I don't know. I think it's this 1. I think it's 2. You can't go through your guess. You all have to agree. So then you go back to the discussion. So everybody starts discussing some more and some more and some more, and they give their reasoning and all that. And finally, everybody says they vote here, because I'm playing like I'm a really good ghost. But if you ever play with me, you know I'm not the best ghost out there. All right, so everybody finally agrees that it's Roman numeral number 3. Then it goes to the ghost. The ghost says yes or no. In this case, we know that we were trying to get them to pick Roman numeral number 3. Because remember, it's the top of the card that you're looking at, not the bottom. So you can flip the cards around. So they guessed the right thing. The ghost says, "Yay, you've set me free." And the game is won. So that is how you play Mysterium Park. And I have to look at it again for the name. Libellud? I feel like I'm stumbling through my words. Libellud. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I went over everything and it was understandable. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. I'll see you later, everybody. Bye.